Alright guys, so we are back at the end game for the standard and proud speedrun. Now, all the strategies that have been applied so far but they are exactly the same in both standard and proud. This is the world where things get a little bit differently. Well, they get a little bit different in terms of strategies near the end, and I'll try my best to explain what's going on here. But we're going to go ahead and take a crack at End of the World. Now, especially with invisibles, what you want to do is spam gravity and pray, as the notes say. But I try to get them all, if possible, with gravity. Sometimes you need to do it a couple times. And if you die, just like that, don't feel bad. These guys actually suck. You can also hit them with stop if you're feeling froggy though. Alright, let's give this another shot. These pesky invisibles, dude. And they just totally ignored my gravity. Them DMing sucks too because it's just a waste of time. Alright, they are out. So what we're going to do after the invisibles go down is use a cottage just to make sure our MP is topped off and Goofy's is topped off. Because next up is the Angel Stars. You just want to make sure you're keeping up with that dodge roll here. And follow the invisible line. And we're going to head over here to the chest on the right. Because we're going to open it right after. Because there should be an elixir in this chest. Angel Stars, same thing. You want to apply gravity on them. If you can do it like this in a circle. Do it. And you want to try and take them out as quickly as possible because there's a chance they could spawn another one. Like that one that just spawned in. Alright, so they're down. And pro gamer tip, face the chest that you want to go to next. It's a good way of positioning yourself correctly. But we're going to open this up, grab that elixir. And then we're going to make like a tree and keep on going. So we're going to skip the other green chest here. And we're going to pick up this red chest at the end for an additional cottage. Now we're going to use that cottage that we had. And now we're back down to 2. And we pick up cottages just to mainly use at this end part of the game. It's optional to use that cottage here. But since I have it, I'm going to use it. And now it's time for the second Behemoth. What I like to do here though is since this one is very, very susceptible to gravity. We're going to spam gravity until Sora's MP is out and hopefully hop on him and clap them cheeks. We want to make sure we're doing it in the air though. And he will always do that attack at the start. I do like to roll under him though. That way I can kind of skip it. Once again, just like the other Behemoth. He should have been dead, but oh well. Make sure you keep that HP up though. and bada bang. Bada boom, bada bang. Alright, we have a menu coming up here next. Just make sure you hit triangle though to get rid of that text with Goofy. And I like to do this menu right before we hit the save point. That way we're nice and topped up. But we're going to go into Mage build Sora, which is where we switch to Oathkeeper. Because as we can see here, it enhances magic and summoning power. And we also get an additional MP slot right there. Then we're going to take off, I believe it's Raven's Claw, and go ahead and put on Royal Crown. Now we can see that Sora loses out on a lot of damage and a lot of defense. But it's all for a very, very good reason. So that is done, and what I like to do here is make sure my customization menu is how I need it, which is Fire, Gravity, and Cura. And Donald and Goofy should both have Cura on at this point. And we're going to go through End of the World. Now, if you run this game in like all worlds, you don't have to worry about doing any of this part right here. But the unique thing about End of the World is you basically have to go through the areas that you haven't visited in the game itself to progress. And I went the wrong way. So since we skipped Olympus Coliseum and Atlantica, we will go there since this is any percent. And the best way to know to go there is if you see purple, ignore it. If you see blue, go there. So this right here is a portal to Olympus Coliseum. And what we're going to do here is the Simba Strat. Now this works if you have Royal Crown on, like I had before. Omega Arts you just keep there at all times, but make sure you have Royal Crown and Oathkeeper on. That way Sora's in his mage build where his damage, his overall like attack is very, very bad, but his magic is actually poggers. But we're going to go ahead and make sure Simba's buffered here, because as soon as we come in, we're going to summon Simba to help clear the waves out. And as soon as Simba comes out, I want you to hold down that triangle button or whatever button you're using for whatever, you know, way you're running this game. And we're going to wait for 2 ticks of Simba, and then we're going to let go, and then we're going to do 3 full charges. I also like to keep my camera how it is initially, because I'm not sure if it's a camera issue with the game, but sometimes if you move the camera, for whatever reason, the defenders that come out will totally ignore the move. But I find that if I don't move the camera at all, it never happens. But I could just be crazy, and I mean, that's also a possibility. But 1, 2 ticks. The basically push back the initial wave of Heartless. A full charge. They've all died. Another full charge. They've all died. And they're spawning back in again. And then one last one. We're going to go ahead and hit dismiss. And we're going to make like a tree and leaf. And that's it for Olympus Coliseum. Let's go further into Atlantica next. And here's just basic Fire Rega spam. There's no like super duper techie way to do this. Each of these guys take at least 6 fires. And now for the bigger boys, hit them both with gravity, which would just shred their MP, not MP but HP. And then just Fire Rega, and we're done. We're going to keep moving forward. Next up is 100 Acre Wood. We're going to go right through here and pick up this Mega Elixir. And now it's time for us to switch back into DPS mode Sora. So we're going to drop Oathkeeper. You can put on Divine Rose or Oblivion depending on which Keyblade that you're using. We're going to swap out Royal Crown for Raven's Claw to get that maximum DPS. And yes, we lose out on that MP, but Sora is at his strongest this way. And we're gonna go do the Hollow Bastion segment. So what you're gonna do right here is lock onto the first one if possible, pause for a second, and start spamming gravity. And that was actually pretty good. Go in this room, pick up this elixir. Read this guy, that is somehow important in Melody of Memory. Switch targets for gravity. If you can get these guys to go together, that will actually be more beneficial than anything. But with that done, it's time for Chernobog. Alright, with Chernobog, there's two strats. On standard, you're just going to essentially make sure you have arrow up. Don't do any finishers on him. Do like 3-hit combos on Chernobog and basically take him down like that. Just watch him for the fire. And the good part about Proud though is that we can basically cheese him with XP 0, where we're going to take advantage of damage storage and hit him with one full combo and then essentially just die. Not die, but essentially exploit it to where Mushu is going to do an amazing amount of damage. But I'm going to go over here and save real quick just to show you guys both strategies. I'm not going to beat Chernobog the traditional way like we would on standard because it's not feasible on Proud because we do die in 2 hits. But I'll show you just exactly what we do. Now this is the part where I stated before where I was telling people, you know, you want to make sure you do Dragon Mail at least right, because if not, you're going to be super underleveled, which, you know, it is very, very important. But we're going to show you the standard strat right here. So apply arrow. I would definitely apply it. Watch him for the fire. And try and do, since we don't have air combo plus, we're basically just doing the 2 hits right here. And the reason why we don't do finishers is because we don't want to get caught inside the flames when we don't have arrow on. But yeah, that's basically it for the standard strategy for Chernobog. So I'm going to move on to the Proud strategy for him. Now once again, the Proud strategy does take advantage of XP 0, which is nice, but you know, for time's sake, it does help with making the run faster, but you do lose out on the extra experience. But what we're going to do for this strat is make sure we have XP 0 equipped. I like to make sure that Mushu is buffered already in the menu. And basically we're going to go in here, try and get a full aerial combo off on him. So 1, 2, 3 hits. And then we're going to try and land as close as possible to him depending on his AI. Alright, so damage storage is ready to go. He's doing the flames though, so we don't want to land on him right now. And since Donald died, he kind of messes up our summon. Alright, I have to do this over again because Donald died, which isn't optimal at all. But XP 0 is on, and Mushu is buffered and ready to go. And it's just dependent on Chernobog's attack pattern, how smooth this fight can go. But once we get Mushu out, it's an easy win. But for damage storage, you want to make sure the finisher goes off. And he's doing the flame, which Goofy survived. And we're going to try and land on his freaking arm if possible. And Donald died again, which just makes me angry. Ideally though, you want to just land on his bicep. So that way you're at the point where you can just hit his head immediately versus me having to glide up. Especially since I don't have Oathkeeper on right now. And he just pushed me away, which makes this fight super annoying. As we can see that the damage storage is going in effect. And since I missed some of those, I just have to finish him off myself. But that's because I had Divine Rose on and not Oathkeeper. So if you want to make sure that this fight is never a problem, just put Oathkeeper on. But yeah, that's Chernobog Proud Edition and Standard Edition. So the only menu that we need to do here immediately is just Super Glide for some more movement. And then we're going to head down to Final Rest. Now, Final Rest on Standard sucks, but Final Rest on Proud is definite run killer. Not the biggest run killer in this game, but it is an easy way, especially for people just getting into speedrunning this game, to hit their wall. If you don't do the strategy perfect for Final Rest and Proud, you're not getting through it. For a beginner, you can kind of force your way through it, but you need to get this down really good for things to work out for you. So we're going to start off with Behemoth here, and we still have our DPS version of Sora ready and raring to go. And then in the next part, we're actually going to take advantage of the game switching out its like menus, or switching out where it's going to dictate if we're in battle or not, so we can hopefully get into that little pause break and switch into Mage Sora to finish up Final Rest, because it's not optimal to run Mage Sora through this entire part, because it does save us on the menu part, but the damage is just so horrific using Oathkeeper and Royal Crown on Sora that it's not worth it from a speedrun standpoint. But once again, just spam gravity. I like to spam it until he's in the yellow. And when he's moving like that, you don't want to engage him because it's very easy to fall off. And as you can see, Sora's doing a lot of damage. But I did notice that I didn't take off Experience 0. So I'm actually going to go ahead and die here because we do want this experience. So Super Glide and make sure Experience 0 is off. Good thing I thought of that already. Gravity. Don't want to engage him while his head is kneeling down. Excuse me, Sora. Alright, we're going to glide to the other part of the stage. And we're going to try and pause at the right time to access the menu, which I missed it. And if you miss it, well, you're just going to have to die and redo it over again. Which sucks. Absolutely sucks. I was maybe a couple frames off from that. But we're just going to have to die and redo it until I get into the menu. Which is a big problem here, because not only do you have to go through this menu to make sure Sora's in Mage mode, but you can still die afterwards. Which makes Final Rest on Proud horrific. Alright, can I make it this time? Alright, we made it in. This trick does take a while to do. Not because it's hard, you just need proper timing to get in. But what we're going to do is switch over to Mage build Sora, which is Oathkeeper. Swap out Raven's Claw for Royal Crown. And our shortcut menu should be fine with the Fire Ruga and Gravity, and also Cure. And next up, you just want to use the Cottage here. And then it's on for the worst part of Final Rest. So dark balls are going to come out first. I try to go into the middle of the stage, and 2 fire ruggers will take care of those guys. And then the invisibles come out. Now the invisibles make this run very, very hellish, for the simple fact that 2 hits, there's a whole bunch of them, they DM all the time, they hit super duper quick. It's just terrible to get through. But if you can get through that and make sure Simba's summoned, we're pretty much good to go. So Final Rest is free, but it's also not free. It's very, very easy to do if everything's perfect, but everything's not perfect. It's a rest in peace to the squad. Now Sora does have that 1 mega elixir from before, which I'm going to actually move down here to the bottom. That way I can access that super duper quickly. And I like to keep this as a buffer here, just in case Donald or Goofy die during the Invisibles fight. That way I can make sure Simba is summoned or summonable as soon as the last Invisible goes down. But we're going to give this a shot. This absolutely sucks on both Standard and Proud, but mainly Proud because you guys will see. Alright, so we got Mage Build Sora ready to go, and it's time to spam some Fire Ruggers, and then just pray.
Fire! See ya! Fire! Fire! Fire!
Now we're going to try and aim ourselves to the back over here and spam gravity.
See ya! Come on!
There's one left, that's fine. What I'm going to do here though is make sure Simba's prepped. We're going to go ahead and pop this Mega Elixir, make sure everyone's alive, and we're going to summon Simba. Now we're going to use Simba to hopefully clear out the rest of the waves here. If this fails, even though you have everything equipped properly, then you probably don't have cheer on both Donald and Goofy. But hopefully this is it. So go ahead and charge it up. We're going to go full. They're out. I like to take a little step forward though, because I have had runs in the back where it kind of misses some, which makes me very, very paranoid because that sucks. You can make it through this if the last wave doesn't die, but it is risky. And this should be the last wave. And that is it. I'm going to pick up these items, even though it's not necessary. I'm just curious to see what they are. And we've made it through Final Rest. Now, you guys didn't see it because I did cut footage, but it actually took me a couple tries to get through this, just because it's so easy to die with Invisibles. But we're going to go ahead and hit this chest right here. And I'm going to end the video right here because the last part is obviously the most important part. And this is where we have to do the boss gauntlet of basically fighting through all the anthems. And we're going to apply the XP0 strat to all of the anthems because we're going to go in with the XP0 strat. And we also have to deal with what I call the true run killer of Proud, which is Anthem 3, which will probably be his own separate video because even if you're on level 1, it's the same tactic for level 1 where it's very specific about the strategy that you do to take him out. And if you don't get that right, well, you're never going to beat him. Like, it's extremely difficult to beat him, and I don't recommend doing it any other way just because it's just so rough. But I'm going to go ahead and end the video here, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, like I said before, feel free to leave it in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next one.